Alright, let's cut to the chase. If you're not using creatine in 2025, what the hell are you doing? If there was one single best supplement for bodybuilding, for strength training, for hypertrophy, this would be it. There is more than 680 studies to back it up, and in this video, I will give you a full guide on how awesome creatine is. Let's go. First thing first, what is creatine? Creatine is a naturally occurring compound made from glycine, arginine, and methionine, that are amino acids. Around 95% is stored in your muscle that is powering your ATP energy system. It is primarily used for explosive effort, such as sprints, 1 RM, or very short bursts of energy, such as a 5 rep max, for example, jumping and other type of sport or activity that are extremely fast and require you to be both strong and fast. So power-based. It is literally pure cellular level fuel. By this description alone, you can already see where this is going to. Do you want more muscle? Do you want more strength? Do you want to recover faster? Do you want to handle more volume? Do you want to withstand better your effort? Creatine is good for you. And science backed it up as well. Okay guys, mid-video I realized that I did not even talk about the food and why it's so good to supplement with creatine. So, to give you a rough idea of why it is so key, here is the top 5 creatine-rich food for 100 grams of raw weight. In fifth, we have a chicken breast with 0.5 gram. Then we have tuna with 0.45, then salmon with 0.5, then we have pork, especially at the shoulder and the loins, so pretty lean sources, have 0.6 to 0.7, and finally, in number 1, we have beef, ground beef or steak beef at 0.9 up to 1 gram per 100 gram. So, to get the standard of about 5 grams of creatine from food alone, you would need to eat every day about 500 grams of beef, half a kilo, or a bit more than 1 kilogram of chicken, and in between with tuna, salmon, and pork. That is why it is so much better to supplement and far more efficient, especially with people that already have very high protein diet. That is why it is so cool to supplement it and so key. In a study by Crowder and colleagues in 2017, we saw an increase of 8 to 14% of strength increase on the bench and on the squat in a few weeks. On another study from Ronson and Volek in 2003, there was a gain of lean mass in 8 to 12 weeks, ranging from 1.5 kg up to 2.2 kg. In 2004, Santos and colleagues deduced reduced muscle damage in a study, and in 2008, Savdar and colleagues concluded a boosted satellite cell activation inside the muscle. If you do not know what is a satellite cell in your muscle, it is something called a nucleus, and every single operation regarding hypertrophy and muscle growth as a whole comes from there. The more they are active and the more nucleus you are, and the more nucleus you have, the better. So, all in all, creatine is very good for anything that is muscle related. But wait, there is actually more.
But wait! There's more!
When I said that ATP was the primary fuel for any short burst effort and explosive stuff, I said the truth, but I kinda lie.
So that was a fucking lie.
It is actually also the primary fuel for quite a few of your organs, and one of them is actually your brain. Your brain demands energy, and creatine will give it to it. In very, very high dose, I'm talking 20 to 25 grams, it significantly improves mental performance. In a study, a high single dose of 0.35 grams per kilogram, which was in the study about 25 grams, improved reaction time under sleep deprivation. In another meta-analysis, 20 grams a day enhanced memory, especially in people ranged from 66 to 76 years old. So not only it helps you build your body, it also helps you build and conserve your mind. Speaking of which, when are you supposed to take your creatine and how much? Well, the common consensus is to take 3 to 5 grams per day every day. You are also able to do a loading phase, but there is not much value to do it, except maybe that for some, the effect start to see earlier and faster. But the general rule of thumb is to do 3 to 5 grams per day, and if you were to do a loading phase, you'd basically be doing 20 grams per day, every day, splitting as much as possible the dose to enhance the absorption. But not only is there a specific dose you can take, 3 to 5 grams a day. There is a specific moment where you can take it. And as per a study that measured different results and concluded in a meta-analysis that it is 60% more effective to take it at this moment, well, creatine should be taken after your workout. So if you're someone who work out during the evening, for example, at your last meal, your dinner, you should be taking your creatine at this moment to really enhance the effect it will have. If you're someone who has been training on his lunch break, for example, and then eat afterward, you should be taking it at this moment. If this is something that is quite a bore for you and even a chore, and you do not like to take much supplement, just take it split up during the day. The most important thing is to take it, not necessarily to take it, at a very specific moment, even though we know it's much more effective that way. For older adults, creatine is also a game changer when combined with resistance training. There has been a study by Condom and colleagues in 2022 that showed that creatine would help along a quick training program to enhance muscle mass, strength, bone density, reduce inflammation, and risk of falls. There is also quite a good chunk of literature on creatine and T cells immunity. Recent studies suggest that creatine may support T cells energy metabolism, which will play a critical role in your immune defense. T cells are highly energized demanding when activated, especially during infection or inflammation. A study in the Natural Metabolism paper review of 2019 showed that creatine enhanced T cells' anti-tumor immunity by improving the ATP availability for these cells, as per the work of DBIS and colleagues. This position creatine not just as a performance supplement, but also a potential ally in immune function and even possibly cancer immunotherapy research. More is needed, but if your cells and your body are working better, it is much less risk to fall, heal, and to stay healed. Now, creatine has been here for a while now, about 30 years into the supplementation industry, and there is a lot of dogmas and myths that accompany it. And it's time now to either confirm them or to break them. Myth number 1. Creatine will dehydrate you. That is actually half true.
Yes, but actually no.
In one study of 2008 by Dalbo, we saw that creatine actually improved hydration, but that is inside the muscle. Creatine in itself will increase the glycogen storage of your muscle by drawing more water into it. So if you're drinking a specific amount of fluid, you start to take creatine, more of this fluid will be retained into your muscle, possibly also your organs, but there will be less in circulation. So technically speaking, it will not dehydrate you, but at the same time, it will draw more fluid, more water inside your muscle. So there will be less circulating. So you actually need to drink more to make up for that. But it's not mechanically making you dehydrate. It has no effect onto your electrolyte balance. Myth number 2, kidney damage. For a long time, creatine has been associated with kidney damage, kidney failure, kidney thing, and even nephrology as a whole. Because when you are taking creatine, your creatinemia, so the amount of creatine that you have in your blood, will increase. And this is usually what we are measuring during lab work and checking out the kidney health. So if you have someone who is training hard, who has much more muscle mass, so by very natural process, you're already producing much more creatine than others, plus a diet rich in protein, plus creatine supplementation, plus, let's just say you have a hard training workout, so there is a lot of damage, there's a lot of stuff to filter out with metabolic waste, etc. And you do the blood work at this moment, well, your creatinemia will be more elevated. And doctors will warn you, oh, be careful, this is extremely bad, But the thing is that creatine is not dangerous for your kidney. It is not. And it has been proven into the Biomed Central in this study that showed that 2 grams per kilo of creatine supplementation for 5 years showed no issue in healthy subject. Healthy subject is the key word here, because if you already had problem with your kidney, then creatine could be a problem because it's still something that you have to filter out. So in a nutshell, it is not dangerous for your kidney. However, if you have already had problem with them, you need to check with your doctor and you need to make sure that it's not going to tire them out or even be a problem as a whole for any kind of problem with them. Myth number 3, it makes you fat. I don't know. I don't even know how people could conclude that, but no, it is busted. This myth is false. It just increases the water retention inside your muscle. So when you take creatine, there is a very possible way that you will gain something like 1 or 2 kilograms immediately, like across 2 weeks, for example, and you may think that it is fat. It's not. It is water retention inside your muscle. And some other people will tell you that it will make you fat because you look maybe more bloated. You're not bloated. It's just water retention inside your muscle. And for some people, the time where your body has to adjust, there is maybe a bit more water retention under the skin. So you look more bloated. Okay. But after a few weeks, it will subside, or you have a very bad quality creatine product. And we will see that in a bit. Myth number 4, hair loss. In a 2009 study by Van der Merwe and colleagues, they saw that creatine supplementation after 1 week of loading, so taking 20 to 25 grams per day every day, yielded into an increase of 56% of DHT in rugbyman player. And DHT has been linked to hair loss. First and foremost, DHT is not the culprit of your hair loss. It is a very quite complex mechanism because even people that are blocking DHT are still experiencing hair loss. Second, there are people that have extremely high DHT that are not experiencing hair loss. So definitely is not the main problem. And last but not least, creatine has been recently under fire for that. They tried to work with scientists and experts to conclude if creatine would be a major actor into the hair loss metabolism and mechanism of many people, and they found out quite recently with a very serious study that it is indeed not a factor and creatine is not making your hair fall. Now, I want to address 2 very specific things that can be actually your case, and even if it's not, at least you will know and you will be able to share this good information with people around you. The first thing I want to talk about is the general recommendation dosage, 3 to 5 grams. It is actually made for the general population, and the general population is not compromised of very big athletes. Actually, the bigger you are, the more creatine you will need. In average, a person of about 70 kilograms will store about 120 grams of creatine. But if this person is bigger, let's say 100 kilograms of body weight, this creatine quantity is much closer to 140 to 160 grams. So they obviously need more. And thus, you need more supplementation. So, a good rule of thumb for you, if you're very big, like 100 kilo or more, is to aim more about to 5 grams at a minimum and up to 10 grams per day. I would consider that about 7 to 8 grams per day is more than enough, and it's plenty enough because you still have to absorb it and digest it. But big athletes have tried higher dosage and respond positively to it. So, case in point, if you're quite big and you're still using only 3 grams per day, you can probably raise it and benefit from it. If you're not, it will just go down the drain in the toilet. Now, for this second subsection, we are going to talk about women and their relationship with creatine that is a bit different than with men. Researchers have showed that women naturally produce and store about 70 to 80% less creatine than men, both in the muscle and brain tissue. That means fuel reserve. But it also means your muscle and brain can get an even bigger relative boost from supplementation. A systematic review covering data up to mid-2024 confirmed that a lower baseline of creatine level in women would suggest they might respond even better to supplementation compared to men. So since women have less of it, they should supplement even more so and in a very thorough manner compared to men. Women's creatine stores fluctuate with hormones like estrogen and progesterone, especially during the luteal phase, postpartum, and menopause period. During the luteal phase, creatine uptake might be lower due to hormonal shift, but supplementation can support energy, hydration, and strength. Finally, in perimenopause and menopause, creatine is valuable to support muscle and bone health, especially alongside resistance training. So whether you're prepping for your workout or you're feeling down the drain because your period is soon here, or you're just feeling fatigue as general, you might actually be a few grams short of creatine from good energy, mood, stability, and support throughout the day in your daily life, both the work and the personal life. Last but not least, regarding the creatine supplementation, you should be only using monohydrate, and you should be trying, if possible, to get it from trusted source. In Europe, we have a label called Creapure that you can see right there. It basically means that we are 100% sure that this creatine will be 99.9% pure and really creatine. While other creatine, if they do not have a label, we don't know. If you are from the US, or at least North America, or at least from America, you can go for micronized creatine, as it is a good rule of thumb for your assimilation, your digestion, and even the quality of a product, as Creapure is a German label and it might not be available for everyone worldwide. So, you've watched until now and you're still not using creatine. What are you doing?
Why?
It's cheap, it's safe, it is effective, it's science-backed, you have every reason to take it, and there is absolutely no reason you should not take it. So, you get the muscle, you get the brain, you get the hormone boost, you get recovery boost, you get the anti-aging effect boost, you get the immunity boost. I mean, what else do you want more, bro? What else?
What more do you want from me?
Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment how was your experience with creatine. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon for another video. Take care. Bye-bye.